I gotcha. I'm not muted. I'm not muted this time.
I was gonna wait. I was gonna wait right there to see if I was being baited, and I was baited. Oh,
Gotcha.
I wasn't. I was close. I was close to saying you were muted, but yeah,
You were wise to my games. You were.
Yeah, I know. I was. My brain was. The wheels were turning. Like, oh, I think he's trying to bait me, but I didn't say anything, so you didn't bait me.
All right. It is Thanksgiving Eve. If it was any other year, I would definitely be at a local saloon with some people from high school or stuff like that, absolutely hating the fact that I was there. That was never fun. You did it every year. I'm just so glad I get to say no and not have to worry about it. I'm kind of loving this whole COVID stay in your house situation.
I can't share those same thoughts. I wish COVID was not here. I wish I got to see my family tomorot.
All right, way to bring it down there, Kyle. Way to bring the mood down.
But I will say I'm not a huge social guy, so I never even bothered going to those things. So that was a good thing for me. But I'm gonna miss my grandmother's turkey tomorrow, that's for sure.
Oh.
But we do have some football games on. I mean,
we'll get there. We'll get there. First, we'll get to the slate, but I quickly want to touch upon the one thing that we did correct last week. There wasn't much that we did.
Yeah,
but we faded the Aarons. Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones. We said, no, thank you. We don't want your Thanksgiving turkey. We don't want none of that. Combined 39 SuperDraft points. Kyle, we can give ourselves a pat on the back for that one.
Yeah, a small pat on the back because the rest of it was a little
rest of it was suspect, for sure.
Yeah, to say the least. I mean, Aaron Jones and Aaron Rodgers, they had a tough time. We knew that the Colts defense was going to come to play.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been the best defense all year, so they did a really good job limiting Rodgers and Jones. I will say though, my stack of Carson Wentz, Nick Chubb, and Travis Fulgham, as bad as it could possibly get right there.
Yeah.
It was brutal. But
I think we should hang up the Wentz cleats. We tried it 2 weeks in a row. We just gotta realize that he ain't it.
So the thing we said that week, like one of my points was the Browns have been playing in these horrible weather games. There's no way they could play in a third straight terrible weather game, right? But no, they played in another rainstorm in Cleveland for the third straight week. And so if I knew there was going to be a rainstorm for the third straight week, I would have probably faded that. But, bad job by me by not looking.
Hey, you're not a weather guy. You're not a meteorologist.
Yeah, I'm not a meteorologist. I can predict the future with these things. So, you got it. It is what it is.
All right. On to this week. You said it. It's only a 2-game slate. For those of you watching at home, this slate has turned into a 2-game slate. There's a few changes I just want to mention off the bat. We're canceling and refunding the Ravens versus Steelers single game contest. Those are getting canceled and refunded. 2, Ravens and Steelers will be marked out for this 3-game slate tomorrow. They're not going to accrue points. They're going to be there. They will all be marked out. They will not accrue points. Do not put them in your lineups. Big disclaimer. And 3, the Washington football team, credit to me for not slipping up and saying the name that they were formerly called. Credit to me.
Yes.
First time it's happened in my career because I just always call them what they used to be called. So the Washington football team and the Cowboys will be offered as an afternoon single game slate. That's all you need to know. But the Turkey Bowl, the whole Thanksgiving Day slate, $40,000 in total prizes, $8,000 to first, 2-game slate. And Kyle, it was already slim pickings with a 3-game slate, but now we only have 2. Now we have 2, and the thing is, it's the football team who have been, they have some bright spots, but not really fantasy, let's say sexy. Am I right? The Cowboys, they're up, they're down. You have no idea what they're going to bring. The Lions, they have all these high-powered guys. Everybody's pretty much hurt on that team. And, by the way, the Lions stink. You would think that they would do well against the Texans defense, but you just don't know. And the same thing on the other side. It seems like the only person you can trust on this slate is Deshaun Watson, but can you?
Yeah, he's had a good year, but he's been a little. They've only beaten the Patriots and the Jaguars twice, so it's been a tough year for the Texans. And he's at 1x too. So it's like you look at Deshaun Watson like, oh, that's a great pick, but 1x. You're not really getting much extra value out of that. So But the main guy, so out of all this limited draft group, the guy that I've chosen to go with is the Washington professional football team's running back, Antonio Gibson, I thought there was some concern injury-wise for him.
Yeah.
Like he was limited at practice, I think, on Monday.
It was probably just because of a short week too, getting everybody back.
He was a full participant on Tuesday, so he's going to be good to go for this game. And he's been fantastic in these last 4 games, where he's averaged 17.3 fantasy points per game in the last 4, 21.63 when you factor in his multiplier. And his best game of the season was actually against the Cowboys a few weeks ago when they gave him the ball 20 times, 128 yards, 1 touchdown, and he didn't even have any receiving yards or catches in that game. And he's actually proven to be a solid option out of the backfield as well. So I think with the way the Redskins offense is set up right now, I think he's going to be getting the ball quite a bit. Especially with the Cowboys, without Dak Prescott, they have Andy Dalton, who you can't really consistently rely on. So I think this is going to be a pretty close game between these 2 terrible NFC East teams. And Antonio Gibson I would be stunned if he is not a part of the game plan through the entire game.
You already are having an awful day spending time with your family, arguing about politics and stuff. So why not throw an NFC East game in the mix just to make it even a little worse?
Yeah, it's despicable. It's even worse. It's even worse because this is an actually important game for the division title.
Yeah,
and both of these teams are 3-7.
They're putrid.
It's an absolute disgrace that the NFC East is going to have a participant in the playoffs this year when all 4 of these teams are absolutely horrible. So,
hey, don't talk about my Giants like that.
Yeah, the Giants stink too. Sorry, Aaron. But Antonio Gibson, I think he's gonna be involved for most of the game.
Yep.
And yeah, I really like him. Even at not a lot of juice at 1.25, but I think that's the amount of volume that he's going to get, I think he's going to do a good job for you.
And it's one of those slates too. It might be chalk heavy. There are 2 games. There aren't a lot of opportunity. Excuse me. The numbers don't favor a guy coming out of nowhere with a high multiplier here. You only have 2 games to hit on somebody. So the winning lineup could be chalk heavy. And before we get to my must start, I need to know, we didn't talk about this, but what Thanksgiving dish is your must start on a plate?
Ooh.
Must start Thanksgiving dish.
Must start. I'm going with stuffing.
Okay.
Stuffing is my must start for sure. We had a Twitter post up there with multipliers assigned to certain sides, certain dishes that you have at Thanksgiving. Go check that out. It was a very good job by you coming up with that idea. And stuffing is definitely my pick for that. I mean, turkey is always good, but stuffing that's number 1 for me.
All right. My must start at a Thanksgiving meal is arguing with your family about politics just to egg them on and make them really have a meltdown. So that's my must start. We're going to go to my must start on the football field because I'm sadistic and I like to really meddle in people's personal issues. My must start.
One quick thing on that. The key to doing that is to throw out a topic of conversation for politics while you're in the dining room, and then just walk out as soon as you make it.
It's like, I'm going to grab this deviled egg. By the way, did you see the new president? Zip.
Yeah. Then you walk out, and then you hear everyone screaming and bickering at each other.
And you can just drop little nuggets of words that will just really piss people off. Like, you could just literally, so-and-so, communism, then leave the room. And then they'll just go.
And you're just sitting back on your couch listening to everyone bicker and you're not involved. But anyway,
dude, that's a 1X day. That's a 1X day, watching people just argue and you're just playing puppet, playing Geppetto. Oh my God. Oh, and we got Jor in the chat. Jor's here.
Yeah, shout out to Jor.
Am I talking about hitting on guys? I don't remember it, but it sounds like something I would do.
I don't know what he was saying, man.
Yeah, it sounds like something I would do. All right, my must start.
There you go.
Maybe I'm a homer. I watch the Lions play every Thanksgiving. It makes Thanksgiving worse for me because they stink and they have never been good for as long as I've been alive, or my dad for that matter, anybody in my family. But I'm going with that backfield. If DeAndre Swift is healthy at 1.2x, I want to start him. The concussion, it didn't scare me at first because a concussion isn't a game or isn't an injury where you're going to be limited, right? You go into the week, you're not going to be losing snaps. You're not going to be in a snap count because of your concussion. You're either full go or you're not going. So I like that. It's not like an ankle or something like that. So that is encouraging if he can play. In his last 2 games for the Lions, 37 touches, 256 total yards, 1 touchdown in that span. With somebody who gets 37 touches over 2 games, you'd like to think they're going to score more than just that once, especially in that offense. He's had 4 targets at least in his last 6 games and a red zone target in each of his last 4 games. So he's getting targeted in the red zone. Even once, it's still steady. So I like that. But if he can't go because of that concussion on a short week, he missed last week too, I'm not going Adrian Peterson. I'm going keep calm and KERRYON Johnson. You like that? Keep calm. I like
that little play on
and
words.
KERRYON Johnson. He played at 1.6x. He played 70% of the snaps last week. Most of those were in the second half when Adrian Peterson got the bulk of the work in the first half. And then, the Lions realized Adrian just doesn't have it anymore. Adrian. Hey, Adrian. Yeah, no, he just doesn't got it anymore. AP's done. He's not all day. He's all done. That's all I got to say.
That was a tough Rocky impersonation, I got to say.
Adrian.
Yeah, let's
Adrian. No,
let's not hear that again.
And anyways, the usage favors KERRYON Johnson from what you saw in that second half last week. And KERRYON Johnson, he's no stud, but I would take him any day of the week over Adrian Peterson at this point. And they're playing Houston, right? If they're going to get something going, it's going to be against this backfield, or against this defense. They've allowed 700-yard rushers this season and 12 touchdowns for running backs. So maybe it's a homer pick, but with a 2-game slate, I don't expect many people to be on them as much as they are other backs like Zeke or Gibson. So why not give it a flyer?
Yeah, I would have, I think I would, behind Gibson, I would have had KERRYON Johnson or, as you said, Swift right in that range for a must start as well with Houston's run defense. And then part of the issue with the Lions and why I think
all those
KERRYON Johnson
injuries.
Is the injuries to Kenny Golladay, and now going right into my fade.
That's a professional segue, Kyle.
I know. How about that?
And I ruined it, but I don't care. That was a professional segue. We need to appreciate that.
Yeah, I did that on the fly. You should be very impressed with me.
I am.
So Matthew. Yeah. So my fade is going to be Matthew Stafford, who has been he's had a pretty good season, but unfortunately now he's playing through a pretty significant injury. He's playing with a torn ligament in his right thumb, which that's as bad as it probably sounds, especially for a right-handed quarterback who wants to be throwing the ball quite a bit. And we saw what happened against Carolina last week while he played through that injury. 178 yards, no touchdowns, no interception, but no touchdowns, 178 yards, and only 7.62 fantasy points. And the Lions scored 0 points.
Zero.
So it's really concerning with Matthew Stafford. Even though Cam Newton threw all over the Texans defense last week, he put up, I think, 386 yards against the Texans. In a normal situation with those guys healthy, I think Stafford would be a good play, but there's just too much risk here.
And even you would expect a bounce back game from a team that scores 0 points, but I don't like that narrative when a team like the Lions has so much internal discord and so much angst in that locker room. They want their coach gone. He's lost that locker room. Patricia has.
Yep.
So, I agree. I'm not going to have fun tomorrow watching this team.
Yeah, it's
as someone who allegedly has a season total over wins of 7, I am not looking forward to allegedly watching this game tomorrow.
That's not going to end very well.
All right. What are you fading? What are you fading on your dinner table for Thanksgiving?
I fade a lot of stuff because I'm an extremely picky eater. So green bean casserole, that can go straight in the trash can. I don't need any of that. Yeah, no need for that. What any like I don't even know what it's called, the cranberry sauce or whatever.
That's literally what it's called.
Yeah, cranberry sauce. Yeah, throw that in the trash. Don't need that either. So literally for me, turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, dump some gravy on it, and call it a day. Everything else I fade.
All right. I don't have a fade on the football field this week. We'll get to that, but I do fade turkey. I'm not a turkey guy. I think turkey is, maybe my parents have never made a good turkey. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. But turkey to me, that's not what I come to Thanksgiving for. I come for the laughs of getting people angry, talking about politics.
Oh, my goodness.
I come for the football, and I come for the pumpkin beer and probably stuffing and gravy.
There we go.
I don't like mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes. I like everything else, but turkey just doesn't move the needle for me.
Ooh, George said, anyone for Jell-O with marshmallows in it in the chat. What do you think about that?
No, I mean, my family, I think this is pretty common. A sweet potato casserole with marshmallows on the top. Have you had that?
No.
I could do without the marshmallows, but I do like it with the marshmallows. Okay. I've just never, I mean, Jell-O for me can go in the trash. I don't like Jell-O. Even Jell-O shots. What am I supposed to do with this?
Mm-hmm.
What am I supposed to do? All right. I'm not fading anybody this week, but instead I have a might maybe start. And that's J.D. McKissic. Even if you're starting Gibson, I don't hate a McKissic play at 1.5x. Kyle, what would you say if I told you this man had 33 targets in his last 3 games?
Wow. I would have not believed you on that. That's actually surprising.
33 targets.
Damn.
And 19 receptions in that span. Only 5.6 yard per touch with the carries. But I believe it was 14 targets, 15 targets, and then my math's not great. Then whatever the rest is in that third. I did not know that until I saw that. I thought it was an error. I had to check it, looked it up. It was correct. I'm not saying he's going to pop off. I'm not saying he's going to get that amount of targets, but in a 2-game slate at 1.5x, a guy who's seen 33 targets in his last 3 games, I don't care if he hasn't done anything with it. I don't. Against the Cowboys defense who you just talked about. Swiss cheese.
Not great. Not great at all. And
I don't hate this as a play in a lineup with Antonio Gibson. Given the running back situation in Detroit with you don't know who's going to play, and if they do, are they going to be great? Yeah, Duke Johnson is on the Texans, but the last 2 weeks since he's had the starting job has done nothing.
Yeah, hasn't been good.
Zeke's at 1x. You don't know if he's going to pop off or not pop off, but build upon what he did last week. Had a pretty good week last week.
But he was brutal.
Was brutal before.
Against the Redskins. He had an awful game against the
football team. Kyle.
I knew it was going to happen. You know, it was going to happen. You just let it happen. Washington professional football team. That's what they're called.
Right. All I'm saying is a lineup with Gibson and McKissic, I don't hate. I don't hate it all.
Yeah, I think with the pass, I think with Terry McLaurin is probably going to play in this game, but he is a little bit banged up on a short week. So I think that McKissic will be more involved in the passing game. You know, as you said, he has been the last 3 games. So
that isn't that's insane.
Yeah. So I think, and he's a third down type of back. So I don't hate that. I think it's a decent play. I mean, I personally probably wouldn't go with it, but it's not as
with 4 teams you gotta pick through. I mean,
right. Yeah.
It's not awful.
Yeah. I don't vehemently disagree with it. So
it might be a long shot in itself, but go ahead, Kyle.
What?
With your long shot.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So, you lost me there for a second. I kind of blanked, but anyway, so my long shot, I got Cam Sims.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You're making me laugh right now. Jesus. Okay. So Cam Sims, who is a 2X this week, is playing. You wouldn't believe this number. He's played 85% of the snaps in the last 4 games. Would you believe that number if I told you that?
Only because I read it earlier. Only because, I do. Only because I read it earlier.
See, I barely even know who Cam Sims is, and then I looked him up. Like, 85% of the snaps.
No, don't tell the viewers that. We know everything there is about Cam Sims and every player in the NFL. You got to make We'll cut this part out. Don't worry, it's not live.
Yeah, it's not live. We gotta, Chris, cut that out for us.
Yeah, we'll cut that out.
So Terry McLaurin, he's as I said, he's a little bit banged up. So Cam Sims is gonna have some opportunities here. He did have over 100 yards receiving a couple games ago. And I think, and the Cowboys have given up the second most fantasy points allowed to opposing wide receivers. So I think. And Alex Smith has actually not looked too bad.
Last week wasn't great, but the most part, he's been great.
Last week wasn't good. But I think there's an opportunity there for Cam Sims if he has he's a deep threat, and he's also a deep threat. So if he gets a couple big, long passes at 2x, that's going to be worth it for you immediately. So, and seeing the 85% of the snaps, thing there, that's, that gives you hope that, there's going to be opportunities for him. So
I will say this, our long shot, we can make a bet here. We can make a bet. Okay. You have a Washington football team wide receiver. I also have a Washington football team wide receiver. We'll put it up now. Dontrellе Inman.
Ooh.
Would you like to make a bet on who has more fantasy points with their multipliers tomorrow? Would you like to make a friendly wager?
To be honest, I would not. And the reason I say that is because Dontrellve Inman, I think, is a safer play. All right, so I'll give you 4.5 points to spot. I will take Inman minus 4.5. $25. And that's my final offer, 4.5. You talked me down last time, but you're not talking me down this time. 4.5, $25. I'll politely decline this because, I just, Inman you're a little bit more, there's a little bit more security there. But
6.5 points, final offer.
Okay, I'll take that. Let's do it. 25.
This man is a shrewd negotiator.
$25. There you go. 6.5 points. You're spot.
All right, and here's why I'm taking Inman. He's coming off a hamstring injury. He's missed the past few weeks, but in the time before he had that hamstring injury, he saw at least 5 targets in 5 out of those 6 games. And you said it. I mean, Sims has done pretty well in his absence, but that second wide receiver role for the football team hasn't really been carved out. It hasn't been taken away. So that's why I'm going Inman. He was on people's radars, I want to say halfway through the season. I believe he was pretty high owned in one of the slates, somewhere in that range. And he did pretty well for people. But coming back, slim pickings, I think Inman could really pop off. He might be on a snap count, so who knows? So, Kyle, you might be tooting my horn here. Who knows? A hamstring injury, it could flare up again, and he might be out in the first quarter, the first series. You don't know. But at 1.9x, a guy with his talent coming in against that defense, I'm about it.
Respectable. I mean, I just think, as far as our bet's concerned, or why I would choose Sims, just a little bit more upside there. With the deep ball. Inman is not a down 3-field threat the way Sims is. But quickly here, so we're going to do our
quickly. You keep saying that. We got Kyle. Come on. I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to get you angry.
You successfully did that, sir. Good job.
All right, get going, Kyle. We got like a minute and a half. Come on, hurry up.
Yeah. Oh my God. I want to strangle you through this. But anyway, so we got the Houston Texans is my stack this week.
Yeah.
We got Deshaun
No,
Watson.
your healthy helpings.
My healthy helpings. That's what
we had a production meeting about this, Kyle. Come on.
We did. Oh, that I didn't know. Oh, okay.
Come on. I'm just razzing you up. Let's go.
Okay. We'll talk about this after the call, sir. So Deshaun Watson, 1x. I think he's going to be good. He had a great week last week against the Patriots. He was rolling, did a really nice job. Duke Johnson, I think, is going to have a bounce back week against the Detroit
it's not
Lions.
a high hurdle. He's really stunk. So
I know he's been bad.
But I agree at 1.65. Come on, he's got to do it against somebody, and the Lions got to let that up. Yeah.
And then Brandon Cooks has been probably the best Texans receiver in the last few weeks. So I think I would take him at 1.3x with the extra juice over Will Fuller. And so I think with how bad Detroit's been in the last couple of weeks with Stafford injured, I think there's going to be a lot of points to go around with that stack.
Yeah, I think that game is going to be obviously heavily owned with the Steelers and Ravens gone. I mean, that Lions-Texans game looks so juicy. It looks so juicy, but both those teams stink. You know, there's definitely a chance. We saw the Lions put up 0 points. We've seen the Texans put up stinkers this year. So I'm going to go a little more low-owned, of course, because Alex Smith is there. Alex Smith at 1.6x with Terry McLaurin against that Cowboys defense. And I'm not taking a Cowboys receiver because the Washington's been so great against opposing receivers this season. And Zeke, after a pretty good week last week, we saw him get it going on the ground, caught a touchdown through the air. If they can finally channel this offense through Zeke the way it's meant to be run the past 3 years, and it looks like that's what they tried to do last week in a game they had no business winning against the Vikings, this could be a Zeke day. So I got Smith, McLaurin, and Zeke a little bit more low-owned. But you're right, that Texans-Lions game, just
Texans. You're not picking any. Don't pick the Lions unless you pick DeAndre Swift or KERRYON Johnson. Those are the only guys that are worth it. So.
Kyle, let's do another wager. I bet you Matt Stafford with his multiplier over 25 points for Stafford with his multiplier, another $25.
Under. He's going under.
All right, I'm going over. You heard it here. Remember what I said.
$10
Steelers.
on this one.
All right, $10. Oh, okay. $10. I want to break the bank. Remember what I said quickly before we go. Ravens, Steelers, they will be marked as out. They will not accrue points.
Money doesn't grow on trees, sir.
It does if you're me. I'm Squish. That's Kyle. Have a happy Thanksgiving with your family, and just be safe out there, people. I had fun.